Nearfall Nation. Say hello to the bald guy. Shooter here, and welcome to the Nearfall Network's review of the 2017 WWE Clash of Champions. We witnessed a pretty decent show last night, and we'll get to that in a minute. As always, I want to start off giving the picks that I have. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, here at the Nearfall Network, we do an MVP chat thread via our Facebook page, and we do a little pick'em, and we kind of go the elitist, which is myself, Shooter, King of Nerds, and the High Fiver, against our MVPs. And we had 5 MVPs, turn in match predictions, and of course, us, the elitist. Once again, I led the pack for the elitists with a record of 6-1. Of course, I do not have the High Fiver's number, so maybe he can fill you guys in on the high five party later on tonight. But as far as I can tell, I think I was 6-1 and was the leader of the elitist. I did get ties from MVPs Bobby and Mr. Vest. They both were at 6-1. I'm going to give the win because these both have asterisks by it, and the reason being they both had picked Charlotte to win, but Carmella to cash in, and I don't like to deduct for a cash-in not happening or some weird stipulation not happening. However, that technically makes Carmella the winner, and that didn't happen, so they get an asterisk. But Bobby gets a second asterisk, and this is a good one, for being the literal only person in this whole group that picked Dolph Ziggler to win the U.S. Championship. So let's get into that Clash of Champions. Open with if you're talking kickoff show, you got Mojo versus Ryder, and what was actually ended up being a really, really fun, really good match. It just shows where the audience was invested in it. They built the story really quickly on social media and did a very good job. I'd actually like to see this program extended just a little bit. I'm not a fan of Mojo at all, but what he showed last night was interesting. It might totally be because of the story, so it remains to be seen if this can carry anywhere. But hey, let's give it, I'm okay with giving it a shot. But pretty decent match. Mojo took the victory. We went right into Clash of Champions, which I was very surprised. Opening match, triple threat for the U.S. title. Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin as the champ. And what a great match. This was fun. This had a lot of good spots. Very entertaining. And unbelievably, Dolph Ziggler picks up the win and is our new U.S. champion. It's hard to explain on a podcast, but you kind of got to watch and just see how this all goes down. But Corbin was getting ready to hit end of days on Roode, and Ziggler kind of snuck up there and pulled Corbin down for the zigzag. And it was the end of the match, the finish of the match was really, really fun, spot on, done very, very well. There were some good false finishes within the match and near falls, no pun intended. Just a fun match and a great way to open up a pay-per-view. So that really kind of highlighted the night and kind of started it off with a bang, I guess, if you really want to look at it. The next match, I think I'm going in order. If I am out of order, I apologize. But I believe the next match was the tag team 4-way. This match, a lot of people online, a lot of people within our MVP chat enjoyed this match. It didn't really do it for me. It wasn't that the match wasn't good. I just felt like there was a lot of pacing issues, a lot of standing around looking at your opponents. And see, Clash of the Champions to me was a pay-per-view of put everybody in the ring at once, and it got clustered in a lot of places. And I think the tag match suffered from this because I understand it's hard to have all those guys in there at once, even with one person from each team. You have 4 people. They pair off, or someone's going to go out and 2 take one on, and then if everyone gets involved, it's on the outside. It can get messy, and I think it suffered from that. I don't think it was as good as it could have been. I guess I'll just say it like that. I don't think it was bad. I think I was expecting more because Usos and New Day were involved, and they've been putting on clinics. Gable and Shelton are great on their own and together. I think they have some stuff to work on team-wise, but I definitely think they're getting there. And one thing that I will say is how over is Rusev and the idea of Rusev Day and Aiden English singing Rusev Day. I love it. And I hope this was a test of waters to see, because the crowd was chanting Rusev Day as loud as they've chanted anything for anyone, and I hope that this translates into something for Rusev, whether they do win those tag titles, whether maybe he goes after the U.S. title, something to where he can grab onto a strong story, if anything else, and hopefully a championship somewhere down the line. But Usos retain, which I kind of saw. I figured if it wasn't them, it would be Rusev Day, and I just don't think they're ready to take that move yet. New Day really doesn't. They don't need titles, and they don't need to be champions. And then when you look on the other side of the ring, I don't think Gable and Shelton are ready. And, you got Rusev and Aiden English, and they're still kind of new together. So I guess we're still testing the waters, and I'm okay with that. Next match I want to talk about is the Women's Championship match. And this was another one that really kind of left me just a little flat. I didn't think it was bad. Again, I just didn't think that it was laid out very well. There was, again, a ton of dead spots and a ton of just... I felt like a lot of this was wasted time, with Natalya throwing Charlotte out of the ring and the Lumberjacks attacking, and we're supposed to be in this weird story place where Ruby Riott and the Riott Squad are there to take over everyone, but somehow they've kind of, I guess, formed an alliance with Natalya. They're not really attacking her. Naomi's really the only one of the Lumberjacks out there that's even, like, I guess, the face Lumberjack, and all the rest are heels. So, like, usually in a Lumberjack match, you see, like, half the guys are faces, half the guys are heels, or girls, whatever. And, you always know when they go on one side, oh, they're going to get the crap beat out of them. They go on the other side, they're going to get picked up and just patted and tossed back in. And that didn't happen here. And the whole thing just felt weird. And I don't know. Like, I do think a Carmella cash-in could have saved this match for me, but it didn't happen. And it just really, to me, this match just fell flat. I would probably call it the dud of the night. And I'm sure some people enjoyed it, but for me, it just didn't really hold my attention. Didn't really keep me interested at all on what any of those women were doing. And that's a shame, because they've got a really, with the call-ups, they've increased their roster size. They have a lot more things that they can do. Of course, Becky's should be coming back soon, because I believe the Marine 6 filming wrapped up. So hopefully she'll be returning and be able to get this back on pace. Maybe we can get some mixing up with some of these women and see what's what. I don't know who's number one contender going forward for the women's title. I think we finished the story off with Natalya, and I guess we got to see where it goes from there. But this match really just was a dud for me and did pretty much nothing for me. So after that, we have a match that I believe the match time was like a minute 54. This was the Bludgeon Brothers, Rowan and Harper, versus the Fashion Police. And as much as the Fashion Police have kind of become a fan favorite, you knew they were getting crushed. No one's beating the Bludgeon Brothers for probably the foreseeable future. These guys were built to and packaged and are being brought up with squash matches so that they look unstoppable. So they will be unstoppable for the foreseeable future. It's just the way it's going to be. So we kind of figure that's not going to happen. I kind of thought maybe we see some interference from the Ascension, but I guess that wasn't in the cards either. Maybe that's something we do down the line on SmackDown. That's always a possibility as well. But I really like this teaming of Harper and Rowan as the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't know about the name and the gimmick. I'm okay with them coming up with a name for themselves or being given a name. I'm okay with that. They don't really need the hammers. I don't mind their ring gear. I know a lot of people are kind of crapping on their ring gear. I don't mind it at all. I don't know what you would put them in. I'm so used to seeing them in the Wyatt gear that anything else that's not the Wyatt gear is weird anyway. So then you put them in like a shirt and tights, and I don't know. It's weird. I don't really. Hey, if you can figure out what Harper and Rowan should dress like for this gimmick, then you tell me, because I think they're all right with what they have on, and I don't know how else you would change it. But it was what it was, a squash match, and we continue making them look strong. We'll see where we go from there. It's only a matter of time before they are in the tag team title hunt. Now, this takes us to see what I thought was going to be the main event, but it wasn't, which then made me question a lot of things. But this is the match for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens' career, because if they lost, they were going to get fired. They went against Orton and Nakamura, and both Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were special guest referee. And this was another match that just was like a cluster of people in the ring. And now I enjoyed this match way more than I did the tag. And for the most part, and this is something I'll probably maybe get into on Drive By this week, but Daniel Bryan took a bump. Now, it was a tiny, tiny bump. It's basically Kevin Owens pushing him and him rolling over top of Shane McMahon to stop a count. But he took a bump in the WWE ring. I don't care what anyone says. That's what that was. We get to face off. Look, I've talked about this, but if this is not leading to a Daniel Bryan return to the ring, then I don't know what the point of doing this is, other than literally pissing every single fan off. So I think the writing's on the wall. Bryan's coming back. It's probably not at a full-time capacity. I wouldn't think that it is. It's probably going to be a few matches a year, maybe tag matches here and there, just to keep the workload off of him, and then maybe a singles one here and there. I don't know. Time will tell, but I do, even though I wasn't crazy about this match, it was enjoyable because you were kind of waiting to see what would happen. I loved the table spot with Nakamura getting the splash from Kevin Owens through the announce table, and overall it was an entertaining match, and it told a good story. The facial expressions on Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan during their interaction. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see what Tuesday brings us. It's hard when you have two guys in the ring wrestling, you have two referees in the ring, they're kind of both in a way. I don't know, there probably really wasn't a way you could do it other than that, because you can't have one on the outside, because then they're just completely eliminated from the equation. So I guess they did the best they could. And like I said, it wasn't a bad match, it just was a little bit clustered with all those people in the ring at once. But KO Sami Zayn pick up the win. If you didn't see it, what had happened was, I'm trying to piece this together because it's rough from memory last night, but there was a spot where Kevin Owens pushed Shane over Kevin Owens pushed Daniel Bryan on top of Shane while Shane was making a count. I believe the count was after Randy Orton gave an RKO to Sami Zayn. There was another point where Shane had went to count on a pin against Orton, and he hit 1-2, and he stopped the pin, and then they get kind of he stopped the count for the pin. They get face to face. Bryan, is like, what's going on? That's not fair. This, that, and the other. And Sammy does a quick roll up on Orton, and Bryan drops down on the mat and 1, 2, 3, real quick. So it was, like I said, I like the way they told the story, and you see kind of Bryan saying, like, maybe these guys are right. Maybe there is a problem here, and Shane is abusing power. So I'm interested to see where that goes. I guess that is the biggest takeaway from that match. Now, last match of the night, main event, Jinder frickin' Mahal against champion AJ Styles. And all I have to say is thank the Lord AJ is still the champion. It was a pretty good match, especially for a Jinder Mahal match. And I know I was a proponent of Jinder Mahal and the Jinder Mahal experiment, but I have since said that I'm done with it. It's over. Let's move on. And I think most people would agree with me on that. That being said, AJ won. It was eerily similar to the Brock Lesnar AJ Styles match without the ability of Brock Lesnar coming from Jinder Mahal. AJ just took a lot of offense from Jinder and sold his ass off and made Jinder look better than he really is, and then beat up the Singh brothers and made Jinder tap out in the middle of the ring. So I think this puts a nail in the coffin of the Jinder Mahal as a main event WWE champion, at least for the time being. At least I hope so. I don't see any way that he gets back into that title picture. I don't know who goes after it. Maybe Bobby Roode. He'll probably have to turn heel. Maybe Orton, although I don't think we need to go there again with Orton. Maybe Mojo Rawley, who just got a big win. Maybe Rusev. I don't know. I don't know who comes for AJ's title now. But my fingers are crossed that Nakamura wins the Royal Rumble and AJ Styles is still the champion at WrestleMania and we get that match, because we already know as a fan we're getting Roman and Brock, and I'm totally cool with that, but there's a large fan base that is not. So if we're getting Roman and Brock for the Universal Championship, let's give the hardcore fans what they're clamoring and screaming for, which is Nakamura, AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. And if that happens, it's when Nakamura should win. It's just the way it is. We love AJ Styles, but everyone would love to see Nakamura win that strap. It's just the way it is. I don't know, that these are just thoughts that, it's kind of the way it's shaping up. It's been teased. It sounds like it's going to happen one way or another, whether there's a title involved or not. So I guess we'll just have to see. I hope that's where it goes. I don't know other than that, but I'm glad that AJ is a champ. I think Jinder needs to step out of that main event picture for a while. I think Jinder has the potential to be a decent mid-card to I would never call him a main eventer, but someone who if they need him in a pinch, they could put him in there. I don't think he was a good champion at all. I just think he did the title thing, so now he's always going to kind of flirt with that, but I don't think they can't afford to put him back in there right now, and I hope that he stays out of it for a while. I would totally be okay with Jinder going after the U.S. Championship after a little break from Jinder Mahal, being in any title picture, maybe get him in that U.S. title picture, maybe turn him face and be the Indian Canadian U.S. champion who likes America. I don't know if that would work either, but maybe if he is U.S. champ, we could get a little bit more character development out of him and figure out who this guy is and why he should be a main eventer. But I don't know. So I guess overall, I give Clash of Champions, I was a little harsh on this one. I was going to give it a C, but I actually, the fact that Ziggler won and pretty much nobody could call it other than Bobby, good job, man. I think I'll bump it up because AJ kept the title and Ziggler, we had a surprise win. I'll give it a B-. It wasn't my favorite. It just wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. It was an okay pay-per-view. It just didn't do much for me. A couple matches that I thought would be good let me down. So I know a lot of people enjoyed this show, and that's good. A lot of people gave it a B+, A-, and I think that's fair. I think A- is a little much, but hey, it is what it is. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and some things that I like, other people don't like, and vice versa. So that's good. But this one just didn't really do it for me as much. It was okay. I'm not going to crush it. I just don't think it was as good as it could have been. That being said, it really wasn't a big build to this show, and it's kind of one of those throwaway pay-per-views, as in it's not a big four. It's leading up to Royal Rumble. We have all this time to kill, so I guess they did a pretty decent job with what they had. Other than that, guys, I think this wraps up our review on Clash of Champions here at the Nearfall Network. Don't forget, Drive By with Shooter drops every Saturday. iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic. Links are on the page. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/NearFallNation. Sorry, facebook.com/NearFallNetwork. You all are the Nearfall Nation. We're the Nearfall Network. On Twitter, @NearFallNetwork. And, of course, don't forget, on Facebook Live, Mondays, High Five and Party returns. Monday immediately following Raw. On Wednesdays is the SmackDown Live review with King of Nerds. And then, of course, King of Nerds comes back Thursday and Friday for Monday Night Wars, Raw, and Nitro, respectively. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for checking out what we do. And again, if you want in the MVP program, there's still some slots open. Like our Facebook page, like our YouTube page, and now I'm going to throw this one in for me. Subscribe either on Podomatic or iTunes to Drive By with Shooter. Take a screenshot of all three of those and message us on Facebook. Say, hey, I want to be an MVP, and guess what? You're in. Talk wrestling with us. Sometimes we watch pay-per-views and just text and message back and forth, and it's fun. It's good and it's entertaining, and if you love wrestling, you can't beat it. So, as I say, every time I talk to you guys, it's been real, it's been fun. We'll catch you next time.